I'm scared and so frightened. I'm not the only one. Oh, my blue-eyed one, please help me to be strong.
This is Rowntree Park. It's a central part of York, really. It's a part of people's everyday lives for many, many people who are York residents. And it makes it a very important open space. But it's more than an open space. It's also a memorial. And I think one of the things that we'd ought to think about is sometimes how well our memorials actually remembered. What I want to do today is I've got another one of people who's been helping us with our project, Alison Sinclair, and she's going to tell us a bit about what she knows about Rowntree Park.
The Lich Gate with the dovecot up above is at the crossing point, the main crossing point. It's not topographically the middle of the park, because in fact the park's size and shape changed during its very early stage. But the Lich Gate is the point where the route across the park and down the length of the park meet, and it also contains the panels, the plaques, which record the purpose of the park, which often is not known about and gets forgotten about. So there are two plaques underneath the Lich Gate which people should stop and have a look at and read as they pass through or pass beside it. And the other very important and crucial thing about the Lich Gate is that above it has a dovecot. And one of the chief pleasures that I have of coming and looking at the park from my front window, because I can see it from the front window, is when there's a row of white doves perched on the ridge of the dovecot. And those white doves are the descendants of white doves which were brought in and put in at the end of the First World War, white doves of peace. And even though there was a campaign of refurbishment and restoration earlier in the 2000s, and the doves were evacuated from the dovecot because it was cleaned out, not surprisingly, after very many years, the descendants of the original doves came back. They did bring back some reminders of their short sojourn away, because with one or two mixed race doves in the dovecot, but there are still a lot of the white ones. And that, to me, is a very moving part of the memorial, that the white doves of peace are still here.
Let's talk about those plaques a little bit more, really, because they're very interesting what they say. And I think it reflects the fact that it's that the memorial was created and then donated to the city of York by the Rowntree family, one of the important families of the city, chocolate magnates, and also Quakers, and I think that's really important.
It was very much a Rowntree project, and I think it is absolutely important to remember the Quaker aspect, because that had the wider ramifications.
Yes, because of course the Quaker aspect is really making the point of not thinking about the war itself, but trying to think about the potential peace after the war, and that's the point that the plaque makes. So it's, if you like, making a political point almost, that the hope that the League of Nations will be able to bring an enduring peace and happiness to the world, and that's a very important part of the Quaker message that comes through.
I mean, they were actively involved in peace-making activities.
Also in the garden we then have a beautiful gate that was actually dedicated to those who died in the Second World War. So all those hopes for the League of Nations all come to naught in the end.
Yes, absolutely. The second plaque in the Lich Gate records the installation of the gates. Joseph, of course, had passed on by then, but it was nevertheless a gift of the Rowntree company. They were early 18th century gates which were brought into York. They are reputed to have been taken from an 18th century country house in Berkshire, I think it's Berkshire, called Richling's Park. but they were specifically acquired in order to install them on the river side of the park. Of course, many people now go up and down and enter from Terry Avenue.
And we've been talking about some of our other memorials we've looked at in terms of how things go through time and how they continue on into the present. And maybe, interestingly, maybe this is an issue for these type of memorials, the ones that are parks, the ones that are halls, memorial halls, even sports stadiums like the Memorial Ground in Bristol.
Yes.
All of those. Is there an issue there where we're actually seeing, rather than remembrance, we're starting to see an issue to do with forgetting and the use of these?
Yes, I think it's absolutely the case. And in fact, we set up the Friends of Rowntree Park in 1995, which was the 50th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. And the specific objective of the Friends of the Park was to hold a birthday party as near as possible to the 16th of July every year. 16th of July in 1921 was the date in which the park was handed over to the City of York by Joseph Rowntree. So as near as possible to the 16th of July every year, the Friends of Rowntree Park hold a birthday party. And the specific purpose of that birthday party is to remind people that the park is a memorial, and to remind people of why it was created, and how they can enjoy it, and how they can remember the purpose for the League of Nations idea, possibly, rather than just a park to enjoy, but it has a reason for being here.
So although it's a focal point for the city, at least once a year we do remember that it's a place of remembrance too.
We do, I hope so, and I hope that the Friends will continue long after into the future, as long as the park's here. And I think they certainly do aim to protect the park and take care of it. So yes, and every July we can remember why it was created.